Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in once again to another episode of the Iconist Podcast, and very exciting episode of the Iconist Podcast. Like usual, I'm one of your hosts, Barry 3D from Deep Dark Delicious. You know the joke, it doesn't get old after over 100 episodes. Hey, aka Barry Carter. And as I said, if you want to see what I'm doing or where I'm going to be, you can always check the links down below or just simply hit barry3d.com. That has all the links for this show, everything else I'm doing live. I'm doing stand-up comedy all over the place. That's the best way to find me. Can't miss it. Check my links, all that good stuff. There you go. Here we go. We're into that world. And a couple of things. One, I never do the show alone. I'm always accompanied by the master of sound, you know, mayhem of the booty beats dropping. I don't even know. You know, he's got that R&B going on. He's got that house music going on. He's got the old school going on. He's got it. He's got the calypso, the reggae. What? Big up. Crop over. Fly him out. Bring him back to BIM. That's right. Bring him back to BIM for crop over. Let him do a party. There we go. You know, and he can tell you more what he's always doing, but that's my man. Myth, legend, father, innovator. Cousin, best friend, the one and only
DJ Rod C. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode. Listen, as he said, the words just don't get tiresome after 100 episodes. We're just smoothing it in. By this time, it's just smoothing in. Welcome to the Iconist Podcast. The icon is. No. We were talking about the Sleepwalker last time, and we got some. Oh, no, I can't. Not yet. You know how it goes.
That's
First,
right.
we still got a couple of stuff to do. All right, what do we got to do?
Round table time, and we're going to make this quick. Here we go. So, we'll see if I can do it quick. First of all, support the books. So that means if you got to support the books, you got to go and buy the books. Where do you get the books? If you're out here in Ontario, do the drive out to Kitchener, head over to WoW Comics, check out Wes and the boys over at WoW Comics, tell them we said hi. If you're out in Montreal, head down to the South Shore, go to Check Swings, and tell Trevor and the rest of the group that the Iconist Podcast guy say hi. All right, so that's made first and foremost. Also, I'm also doing comedy with my boys there, Zolf Ali and Dave Sokolowski. We are a touch of gray matter, and we are on tour, going around performing all over individually and as a group. And usually when we do as a group, Dave does his fundraisers, and that's the Widow's Sons. He's always doing fundraisers for the homeless, food shelters, any kind of thing like that. You laugh, give back, everyone feels good. Sweet. I know, and then there's got to look for the link down below for her magazine that comes out every month. That's Brandy Ford, the writer and the wit. Please subscribe on her venture and do that there and follow her. You'll see her on stage with us at times too. Okay, I think we've got most of that covered. Yes, yeah. And Rod, where can they find you before we move on? I know we got one more, but where can we find you where can they find you?
You can find me on the World Wide Web. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Rod C. So MRRODC. Or you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJ Rod C. Listen, as Barry said, I have fun. I like, bringing the vibe to the people, bring them all that wonderful jazzing stuff, give them some good opportunity to shake their foot, swing their knees, swing their back, swing their arms. Do what you gotta do to release the tension and have some fun and get you through the end of the week. Listen, I am always doing a whole bunch of different genres: hip hop, R&B, soca, reggae, house, Afro beats. Listen, whatever the spirit moves me, or depending on what show I'm doing at the time. Listen, you will not be disappointed.
No, you will not.
Come on down and let me know that you saw me. You heard us from the Iconist Podcast. Do a little shout out. The people are here. Yeah. Yes, just come on through. And that's about it. You find me there. You find me
right. That's right. And last, but far from least, the man that makes us look so pretty. If you want to do what we do, right? First of all, we have our stuff over at podbean.com. So if you want to do a podcast, you can head over to podbean.com, set up your own podcast. It's open to any type of topic, and it makes it so easy to share on all other streaming services. So check out podbean.com. That's where the show originates from. And regardless of where you listen to, that's the center. And the man that if you want to do this and you need a logo, templates, signs, merch, anything designed along that way that you want to turn around and brand yourself, regardless if you're an online business or a brick and mortar location, reach out to the one and only
J Bird Digital Art.
J Bird Digital Arts. That's Jason Reese. If you tell him you heard about him on the Iconist podcast, he'll give you a discount.
Let me give some money back to you, people. Let me give you some money back. That's literally what a discount is. Giving you back the money.
That's right. You just mention us, he'll hook you up. Thank you, Jay, for always being there. Now, that brings us to the topic of tonight. You see the name, you're going, huh? And maybe you see the name, you're like, oh. And we go and break down our version of what that's going to mean to us. So tonight, on the Iconist podcast, the icon is
Machine Man.
Machine Man. He's a man that's a machine. He's a machine.
Well, that was straightforward. That was straightforward. Everyone, have yourself a great night. Thank you for passing through. It was straightforward, right? Nah, we'll tell you some more stuff.
I love it. It's like, he's a man, he's a machine. Okay, we know everything. See you later. No, you gotta hear us talk. We gotta do a round table. We gotta turn around and have our discussions. We gotta say how we want to adapt it, and what's gonna go on, how we're gonna adapt it, the vision, what you should be reading, what you should be checking out, and the history. How? Right now. So, right now, here we go. So, Machine Man is a Marvel character that was made way back. And his first appearance was not in his own magazine. Things that make you go, Things that make you go, Sometimes you got a character that's new and he's made and he starts off in his brand new, in his own mag, as they would call it. And then sometimes they start off in another publication and then they get brought over. Right? Case in point, if you look at the original Star-Lord, that was, Marvel Presents, and it was a black and white book, and his character and how and aesthetic was totally different than what we got on the big screen with the MCU. Same thing with this one. So let's go way back. If you've liked the movie 2001 Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick, and you watched that movie, got into it. I know it's got a huge fan base. It's got a cult fan base. A lot of people watch it. People love it. Great. That's the origin of Machine Man. Because at the time, Marvel used to turn around and do a lot of licenses for movies and other properties, right? So at one point, Marvel had the license for Transformers, Star Wars, The Man from Atlantis, Logan's Run, Godzilla, and it goes on. And they had 2000 Leagues Under the Sea, Frankenstein, Werewolf. They had the whole monster universe, the dark universe that they tried to do. Most recently, Marvel had the license for all of these things. And they had the license for 2001 Space Odyssey based off the movie. They turned around and that book ran for a couple of issues. Usually sometimes they don't run long, but it ran a couple of issues. But the key issue that you need to read, so put it on your checklist, the first issue you want to read if you want to talk about Machine Man is 2001 Space Odyssey, issue number 8. 8. Right? Issue number 8. And that came out in July of 1977. And that was the first appearance of Machine Man. Now, what does Machine Man have to do with a Space Odyssey? Well, Machine Man was created by the one and only Jack the King Kirby. You can't say Jack Kirby. You got to put the King in it. It's like an acronym. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. And if anyone got that reference, you watch Boondocks. Good on you.
Nice.
That's right. You got to say the whole acronym then. That's a Cat Williams Boondocks episode. Yeah. Okay. So Jack the King Kirby created Machine Man, who made his first appearance in a Machine, and Jack Kirby is like a writer and the artist. And as I said, 2001 Space Odyssey by Marvel Comics back in 1977 in July. The tying factor is in the movie at the very end, you get the black monolith and everyone's like, oh, right. The black monolith shows up. So Machine Man gets created by, Abel Stark? Have I got my name right? I tried, Rod's going to fact check me in a minute and I'm going to keep on moving. Cause I'm talking his creator. Yes. Sometimes we have our notes and, this is what happens when we'll keep on going, but it's Abel Stark. Yep. So Abel Stark was the scientist that made Machine Man. Now, he just didn't make Machine Man. He made other ones before, but we're focusing on Machine Man. That's his origin. And in there, the Black Monolith does make an appearance in the comic book to Machine Man, and it does signify that every time this monolith shows up, it's always signifying the evolution of man. Like we're just about to go through another evolutionary stage. And it only shows up to certain individuals, certain people at certain times. So it's, one time they showed up, it's like, oh, it's being the sign for the new star child, so to speak. That, that was another evolution step with man. It showed up with the Celestials. Yes, those Celestials from the Eternals movie, which we know because of Jack the King Kirby, the Eternals run from Marvel Comics from way back. Okay, so that same monolith shows up for the Celestials, and that's how it ties in this whole world with Machine Man. So I mentioned Celestials, put a pin in that, we'll get back to it. So when Machine Man now goes through his adventures, so he gets made, and at first there was another robot, and each robot was made. So what happened is Abel Stark made this microchip that was a high processor that was able to do high computations, analytics. And at first he tried it in just a machine, but he was sponsored by the U.S. government, Army, and they're like, oh, try it on this machine, try it on that machine. They go, well, we want to take your work because we own it, and we want to take that and put that in a humanoid body. Maybe make something like a super soldier, and see what kind of military applications I can have. So they made these robot bodies. They put that processor in, and the first couple of them didn't work out well. The most notable one was it was like X-23. Now I'm using the short acronym for these robots because they have a long, let's say, androids. I would say that's how they're referred to. They have a long serial number, but they always went with the X. So X-23 was one that was made, and he went a little bit crazy, and he started attacking people as soon as he came to life. Once the robot was switched on, and then they had to shut him down. And then there was X-50, and when they made him, they said, "Oh, we'll try something different." They gave him a human body, anatomy full out thing. They gave him a fake face, so he had his robot face. They put a human-looking face over him, and things were going well until he was being chased down, and the Army captured him, and they took off his face mask. Ooh, no, sorry, it wasn't the Army. My apologies. It was he was helping out the X-Men. That's it. He met Charles Xavier, so Abel Stack brought him over to Charles Xavier, met the original X-Men. So that's Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, Angel, and Marvel Girl. And on one of their adventures, his mask gets taken by these creatures, and he snaps because it almost felt like he was losing his identity because he lost his face. So he chases these creatures down, and it wasn't a good moment for that X-51. He went a little bit bonkers. Right. So now, problem with suit. Yeah, Abel Stack turned around and he says, okay, we're going to try this one more time. And then he made X-51, which is who we were talking about today. That is Machine Man. And they gave him a face. But then they said, instead of leaving him in the lab, Abel says, I'm going to bring him home and raise him like my son. I don't have any kids, but I'm going to treat him like he was my kid and see if that makes a difference. They still give him the mask. He's in a home environment. He feels the love, the respect. And I know machines can't feel love, but definitely felt the respect. He started understanding human nature. All right. So we're moving on. Things are going well. And then, the Army decides, hey, we got to make some changes. The other one freaked out. We're ending the program. So, yeah. So, at the time, Abel was raising him as a son, as I said. He gave him a name, and he gave him the name Aaron Stack. So his creator gave him his last name to give him more of a personality. They picked up the name Aaron. All right. And he's like, okay. He's like, brought him in, and he goes, we've had a couple of adventures. The Army wants to shut down the program. There's a little chip inside your neck that can cause things to blow up, including you. Come here, my son. Give me a hug. Let's listen back of your neck. Let me just take care of that. All right, son, I got this thing here. I need you to go away. Don't worry about me. I'll be okay. It's time for you to go out in the world and start experiencing the world as your own man. When your youth gets to a certain age, you tell your youth to get out the house because you're done with them freeloading. He wasn't freeloading. I'm just saying, you gotta go. And
y'all gotta get the hell out of here. You can't stay here. You gotta go.
You gotta go, right? And
Yep.
prior to that, he, Machine Man or Aaron has, once again, he's got a robot body. He's got different powers. And then the last thing he gave him was the power of the anti-gravity equation, which allows him to fly. That's how they explain it. So Aaron turns around, looks at his dad, says, okay, Dad, I'm going. Doesn't tell him why he has to go. He goes, you just have to go. And he flies off. And his father is holding that little mini bomb. And it's detonating, and all of a sudden there was an earth-shattering kaboom.
About to say, earth-shattering kaboom.
If you know where that's from, good on you. You're on the right show. And, Machine Man is now out there. The army realizes he didn't blow up. There is no earth-shattering kaboom. Who took my oscillator? So he's now man on the run. Man on the run. Man, well, more like Android on the run, but Android on the run. That's exactly what it comes down to. So that's just the first part of his adventure. He still has the encounter with meeting the Black Monolith. He's been treated differently. So he doesn't have a freak out moment. And now he's in the world as best as he would know it, being chased down by the military because they look at him as property.
Like,
I'm a man, not a number. Once again, if you get where that's from, good on you. You've tuned into the right show. Oh, that might be too old for most of you out there. So I'll make this one easy on you. You got to look up the show called The Prisoner. There we go. It was a UK BBC show, The Prisoner. I'm a man, not a number. Right.
Keep going.
Yeah. So this is the whole thing with Aaron Stack. So Aaron's out there. He's running from the army. He's got, I think it's General or Colonel Stagg that's after him, chasing him down, wants to get him back and decommission him, pretty much end him, or dissect him, or repurpose him. Because picture it, send him into the most dangerous things. He's a robot. He's an android in their eyes. You're not losing a human life. He's like Astro. Astro the robot. That do the safety commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I'm Astro. I can lose an arm and I can put it back on, but you can't. Please don't play around heavy machinery. I
haven't heard that in so long. Oh my goodness. You said Astro, I'm like thinking, and then you went and go, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh my gosh. I remember that. Sorry. Yeah, mental flashback.
Astro. It shows you where my mind goes at times.
Holy, funny, nice.
See, that would be the crossover right there. Bring Astro and Machine Man. That should be Machine Man sidekick. Machine Man and Astro, not Astro, but Astro. There we go. That would be something because, right? Okay, all right. Just going off. So these are some of the basic elements that are setting up Machine Man and his whole thing. Now, when he starts going around, he sees some people that need some help. He lifts up the car with one hand, changes their tire, gets in there, and he goes by Mr. Machine. What's your name? Mr. Machine.
Mr. Machine.
Right. Love Rod's got the theme song going for Mr. Machine.
Mr. T. Yeah, Mr. Machine. That's your link. That's your connect.
Dancing. I'm a dance machine. That one's for you, Kevin. All right.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. So But so he went by Mr. Machine, but then later on he changed the name to Machine Man. You know, it's Marvel, Spider-Man, Machine Man. Everyone had man in their name. It was either man or woman. There was only a few of them that didn't have it, but most of the heroes had man in their name at some point.
Listen, it made it easy for them. They always, you just have to change the first couple of letters in between. The last three is always the same. So they could just stamp it. Just save on ink. Something, man, or stamp.
Wonder Man.
Man, Wonder. Man. Fantastic. Man. We just save money. That's how we
man. And before you say X-Men, Barry, no. Know your history. There was an X-Man. Right. And that was a offshoot of Cable from a different dimension, younger without the virus inside of him. X-Man.
Mm.
I know a lot of women out there say they have an X-Man.
Man.
Well, this day and age, everyone's open. There's men out there would have an X-Man too. So that's okay. I ain't judging. Everybody love you. Okay, here we go. So these are what it is right now. And that's what that's what he's going through. So his original run, as I said, his first appearance was 1977. His comic book as Machine Man took place in 1978, and that only ran for 19 issues. Now, the first couple of issues were done by Jack the King Kirby, and then later on they were done by Steve Ditko, that was doing the art. If I remember some of that right.
You're right.
Woo, look at that. The gray matter is working hard today. You can see the smoke. I'm still raised on Astro. Hi, I'm Astro. So this is where it comes down to that it's almost, he's looking for his humanity. He's trying to find his spot to fit in. And the first, I would say maybe 10 issues or so, he's trying to fit in. He's running from the army. He's saving people at the same time. It's almost like the Hulk, pretty much. Thunderbolt Ross is chasing him down. Gotta stop him. That Bruce Banner, the Hulk is a menace. Pretty much, even though just like the Hulk, Machine Man does save his, pursuers numerous amount of times.
Right.
He adopted identity. He went by literally Aaron Stack. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, he looks human, except for he's got these red eyes. No irises, just these red eyes, with a little bit of yellow in them, but they're bigger. So you just put on sunglasses. I wear my sunglasses at night, day, morning, noon, afternoon, all the time. Because, we had to do the remix because Machine Man don't take those glasses off unless he's in Machine Man mode. But as an Aaron Stark, Aaron Stable, he wear them glasses all the time.
Got it.
Yeah, because people want to understand that. And he goes and he gets the job as what? An accountant. So later on, when Steve Ditko was doing the series, they gave Machine Man, he went by Aaron Stark, and he went by, as Aaron Stark, he got a job, and purple's his color. So his whole outfit is purple, but he would put on like a purple suit, white shirt, purple tie, matching hat, and sunglasses, and go and work at an accounting firm. At night, he fights crime, but by day, he balances the books. Now,
I'm keeping this company afloat. This is hard work. I'm telling you, it's hard work.
It is. And I see now my ignorant self in the old days would have been cracking jokes about all this, but now as a grown man, that's a good job.
That's a good job,
especially if you use a machine that can do calculations.
About to say, everybody needs a good accountant. Needs someone who can run those numbers very well. Listen, that's a secure job. That's guaranteed. I wish I had told my kid that a little better earlier. Listen, you need to get those numbers up. Why? You need to become an accountant.
Right?
You need to do something with money. Do something with numbers. Do something with numbers to get that money.
Listen, I would crack jokes about an accountant, but now as a grown man that pays taxes and has to do all that, I need a good accountant. And how many times you watch Hollywood celebrities, stars, getting ripped off by their accountants because they don't have good accountants. Now, Aaron wouldn't rip anybody off. He's a robot. He don't need money to buy jewels. He don't even eat. He just wants to be plugged in. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, accountant. I watched the movie The Accountant with Ben Affleck. That's the kind of accountant I need. Okay, where he's gonna tell me how to save money, how to get the max of my tax return, and by some fluke, if someone breaks into my house and he's there, I am safe.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing goes for Machine Man. He goes to work. He works in an accounting firm. You know how fast it would be if Machine Man was doing my taxes? I'd walk in. You know, you go to H&R Block, you sit down there, and you got to go through, take a number, do an appointment. You might be there for a couple of hours. They do a great job. You got to be there for maybe a couple of hours, depending how much you got to go through your taxes, what you're kind of claiming, if you got your businesses, whatever. With Aaron Stark, you can walk in there and be out in 5 minutes. Hey, man, here's my numbers. Boop, 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 boop. Do you know if you put this here, put that here, put this here, sign here? Okay, you can get the maximum of your tax return. Woohoo! You pull your Homer Simpson, you walk outside, you get your hot dog, and call it a day. That's your celebration right there. I need Aaron Stark as my accountant, or at least Ben Affleck. I can go with either one of them. All right, okay. Moving. So that's his day job. Like, you know, we've had reporters, we've had news columnists, TV reporters, business owners, students, runaways, drug users, right? And before you're like, what? There's drug users that have powers? Yeah. You know, and not because, yeah, Cloak and Dagger. Read it, look it up, watch it. Okay, okay. So we have every scientist, right? We've got but never an accountant. We've got lawyers, you know, Daredevil, the man without fear, but we've never had an accountant superhero.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Like, this is, I'm telling you, this is great. Like, you know, Jack Kirby, that's making the common man how you can relate. You too can be a superhero. File taxes properly. You too can be a hero. Thank you very much for your services. Yes.
Yeah. You know who needed those heroes? You know who needed Aaron Stark? You know who needed that? Blade. I mean, sorry, Wesley Snipes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the other Stark. Just in case, you know, when he was during his drunken tirade and stuff like that, he could use someone. But, you know, he's still making money, so.
Yeah. But see, it's a good thing you mentioned that, because now the adventures that go on is, I said, because Machine Man, he had a beginning with the Monolith 2008. Sorry, 2001, Space Odyssey, the Monolith. And I believe, I felt like the original series kind of went off track. They didn't know where they wanted to go at times with the character. Because in his original series, he never deals with that black monolith again. It just kind of goes off the rails. But he does fight, and a very good point, he does run into the drunk version Tony Stark as Iron Man.
Yep.
Right? And he does get into this whole tassel with him. And then he runs into, of course, the rest of the Marvel Universe in various capacities, be it if he's teamed up with them or fighting against them or a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of his most notable fights is against the Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
And he took some licks on that one. He took some licks.
Hulk smash.
But he held his own. And because of who he is and being, so here we go. So this is the basis of Machine Man. He's got so much history. So he got his basic history. And then just to touch real quick, he's a machine. So he's not going to age. If everything's working well, he will keep on ticking and going and ticking nonstop. And key books to read, well, of course, as I said, it's 2001 Space Odyssey. You know, read the Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko run on the original series Machine Man. And then he goes back and forth. So and it's hard to keep track of all the things he did. So he has his own villains, his own pursuers that are chasing him. And I just like the chase aspect. No one really overly stands out. Okay, you got Colonel, there we go. Colonel Cragg. There we go. So it's Colonel Cragg. So Colonel Cragg is chasing him down. And at one point, while he's chasing him down, he gets injured, loses, hurt, damaged part of his face. He loses an eye, wears an eye patch. And as time goes on, Colonel Cragg goes from being his pursuer to being his ally, because he realizes Machine Man is not a bad person. Machine Man is just trying to fit in and live a normal life and understand human beings and interaction. And he almost gets a girlfriend. So these are all very similar to Vision and so forth. What's notable is during his story arc, so he has a story, then he has his original series, he stops. Then he showed up in a couple of issues of the Incredible Hulk where they had to fight. He ends up losing an arm. He goes back. There's other scientist that he's helping him out who goes by the name Gears. Turns around, streamlines some of his technology that's in his body because some of it's draining the energy cells too much. Updates a certain thing, updates his vision, makes his eyes a little bit smaller so it's easier to conceal. And then Gears comes back later on. So the main thing is Aaron has his mask that makes him look human. At one point, that face gets distorted. It gets destroyed during a fight, so half of it's melted. And he doesn't really freak out, but he feels that he's lost his identity without that face. So he finds someone to fix that face, to give him back that fake, as I said, a fake face, right? A mask. And that's what I think what keeps his identity. And I think that was the thing with all the ex-robots is that because they didn't have an identity, they had problems coping, which is something I think they should have gotten a little bit more deeper within the storyline. And then as I said, the next time that I enjoyed a storyline with Machine Man outside the original series was, yes, he's dealt with the Avengers, he's dealt with the Celestials, but it's another 4-issue miniseries that's done by Barry Windsor Smith, and it's Machine Man, and it takes place in the future. And you have these guys who are called the Wreckers, and they have like flying bikes, and they go to a junkyard, and they're always raiding this junkyard. You find out the junkyard is like a Stark International junkyard that they throw away old technology, and they find this box. They bring it back to their headquarters, and it's all pieces of Machine Man. If you remember our OMAC episode, they had the woman in the box kind of thing. You find out she's an android, and you guys like snap all the parts together like Lego.
Right. They
did the same thing for Machine Man, snap them all together, and they're like, oh, you're Machine Man, and his memories are kind of foggy. But one of those records comes out, and he's an old guy, and he looks at him and he's like, oh, Aaron. And he's like, who are you? He's like, you don't remember me? It's Gears. This is now years in the future that Gears is the one person that still remembers him. And he goes through, and in that book, we get the future version of Iron Man, which is his descendant, which is Aaron Stark. Right? So not Anthony, so Aaron Stark. Oh no, is Anthony Aaron Stark? Maybe I'm messing up the name because I'm thinking, hold up, I gotta double check that. But I know it's Stark, and but he's a future Iron Man, and that 4-issue miniseries was fire.
Arno,
thank you, Arno Stark. Arno Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Arno. Sorry, so many A's in the book.
Right.
So they bring in Arno Stark, and he's the descendant of Iron Man. But he's more of a villain at this point than his predecessor, who was a hero. What do you think about Machine Man, Rod? I know I've been doing a lot of talking here.
No, listen, Machine Man, you're definitely saying points, and definitely enlightening everybody with some good backstory and giving some good content. Machine Man is, how do I say, that particular it's been a minute before, not a minute, but a trope. That particular trope has always been there. Having a machine who has the mind of a man, a machine who wants to be a man, someone who basically, trying to be as human as possible, aka, this is the early versions of Data.
That's right, Data.
This is what it is.
From the next generation,
trope, from next generation. But this trope has always been there. So having the ability to have a storyline that you can actually, from his point of view, how he is an actual android, how he is a machine, but he's actually in the environment, he's in the world of humans, how he's going to interact, how he's going to do, making sure that those around him, he it's like a prime directive in the sense that his mission is to help people. There's an issue where I think it's actually the first or second issue starting off of the Machine Man issue, that a child is falling off a cliff, and basically he's extending his arm, making sure that he can grab him and pull him up type of scenario, and couldn't make it. He had to literally jump over the wall, basically down the cliff to at least grab himself, then grab the child because he was too far away from his arm, risking his own life, his own mechanical life for a human. That's a nice perspective, a viewpoint of understanding. Like, hey, why would he do that? Because, like Barry said, he has an identity. He has a particular way of thinking that he has a face. He is someone versus his predecessors who were just machines, just themselves. He's actually realizing, no, I could be someone. My creator / father made me in his image in that sense and made me feel as though, called me his son. He made me somebody. So I have a purpose. Let me go out into this world. My father basically sacrificed himself so that I can escape from the tyranny of the army. It's basically, again, rules is Thunderbolt after the Hulk. All that is. He's my property. He used our electricity. He's one of us now. Damn.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
So that's clean. And now what I like about Machine Man is it brings in a lot of characters, right? Mm-hmm. So 2001 Space Odyssey, the Monolith, which ties into Celestials, which ties into the Eternals, which brings in Iron Man, which brings in Jessica. So Jessica, when she first comes, but when Jessica comes in, she's a main storyline for Machine Man because it almost can see that she can be the robot girlfriend for him. She would understand him best.
Right.
And bring it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So she was a key player. At one point, he joins, he gets, recruited in a team where it's the super adaptoid, it's himself, it's the Sentry from the Kree universe, one of the Kree battle droids that he left on Earth. And this other robot, I can't remember the name of it, but it was made to fight Captain America. And the four of them teamed up and formed a team. But of course, Machine Man joins because he doesn't trust that Kree Sentry, thinks he has an ulterior motive. Right. That was cool. It was almost like a robot version of the Fantastic Four.
Nice. Yes.
And they just skim on it. And I'm like, and then he always goes full circle in his role. So I don't know if writers really knew. They had an idea how they wanted to start him, but I think they lost the way.
You know what? Again, if you step back and see the amount of characters that he was also interacting, like I can see what they're probably trying to do to give him a sense of purpose in a sense in the Marvel universe and everything like that. There's also a part where he connected with like members of the Alpha Flight.
Yes,
Alpha Flight. So again, Fantastic Four, like thing from the Fantastic Four. They, definitely want to have those type of guest appearances to bring people to, to read their IP, but they may have just, tried to saturate it too much and didn't give a chance for the character just to build. He's meeting up with Thing from the Fantastic Four. He's interacting with Iron Man, Jessica, as Barry said. Why? What's, and just make it seem like, okay, he's the wandering vagrant in that sense, like the Incredible Hulk, that he's going around. But you can't tell me that he's gone around these people. They know who he is, or that he's out in this world, and no one is kind of like, hey, next time you're in the area, hit me back up kind of scenario. Let's make a return visit. It's just like a one and done.
Yeah, exactly.
They kind of let it go. Like there should have been opportunity. It's not saying that Machine Man wasn't a common man in that regard, but you have an individual who has super abilities and fantastic skills and stuff like that. That should be on someone's radar to at least say, hey, something's happening out in the West. Description: big eyes, purple outfit. Yo, I think that's Machine. Can I be Eminem? Can I be Eminem? Can I be Eminem? Let me go take it out. Let me take it. Read it.
P.S. Let me bring my taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me bring my receipts.
Let me tell you right now, man, we got to have these conversations. So, yeah, this is where they kind of unfortunately let it slip a little bit too far. Probably was trying to come back to it, but just didn't They didn't put the foot on the gas long enough to say, let's work on that a little bit more.
Exactly. So I get you. And now, just because we're talking about, we're saying that doesn't mean we don't like it.
No.
I love the character. So here's my 2 cents of it, and we'll get into a little bit more. So, as I said, for me, Machine Man, this is how it should have gone, or could go, or come back, or go to. One, I like his classic look. Give me the purple look. I know right now they put him in a trench coat, and if you read Earth X or Universe X, it's the Marvel universe there in the future, right? I'm sorry, if you read that in the future, you realize that you have the Beyonder, and then he's there with a robot it's all see-through, and the robot's observing everything and recording what's happening. His whole story arc is he starts as a machine, Monolith, goes through everything, and in that universe or that future, he's so far in the future that he becomes the new Watcher. Aaron Stark becomes the new Watcher, and the Watcher pretty much kind of retires or moves on. So he's been around. Because he's seen everything. He's been hunted. He's been created. He's been hunted. He's teamed up with. He's fought against. He's explored. He's gone into outer space with Celestials. He gained cosmic awareness. The Celestials turned around after he was with them for a year and said, "No, we're rejecting you. You're not going to join the Celestials. You're going back to Earth." They never say why, but then when you think about it, maybe he wasn't ready, or they sensed a different purpose from him. So he's got the Celestials, he's got the Monolith, and he's got the Watcher. You got some big cosmic beings in there. So hold on, let's back it up for half a sec, and let's start on the basics. If you're a machine that's being hunted down by the army, and you're a special project, I wanted to see, okay, it's fine, the army's chasing them, they want to get their money back, but they should have had a liaison from S.H.I.E.L.D., right? That's my thing. So S.H.I.E.L.D. should have been intertwined there somewhere. The big thing for me is, and I know he's run across him, is Sebastian Shaw. So Sebastian Shaw, munitions, he has a munitions company, and he's always making new products. He helped fund the Sentinels that hunt down the X-Men. He's always looking for the next piece of technology. Shaw Industries. Machine Man and Sebastian Shaw fought. But as I said, Hellfire Club, he should be fighting the Hellfire Club, because Sebastian Shaw should have a vested interest in trying to capture him. To dissect him. Now, I know other people are trying to dissect him, but this is where you could bring in, instead of making new villain, use the existing ones that would have an MO that would fit it. Right? You would see Sebastian 100%. Shaw. It's like, oh no, he's an X-Men person. No. He's a businessman. And it's we really see that more with Chris Claremont when he was writing him, and John Bryan when he was drawing him, to see the business aspect of Sebastian Shaw. So Sebastian Shaw, Roxanne, these are companies that should be chasing down, even though the army is chasing, saying, "Oh, we're good, this is our property." They should be going, "Yeah, you get to him first," and should be chasing him down and bringing that in. You don't need to bring in AIM, Hydra, and all that. I think this is really more of a spotlight to bring in some of the, as I call it, the business side of Marvel, not the basic army side chasing him down. Because every big company will have their own, like Sebastian Shaw will have his own troops. His own kind of private army security force. I mean, they already have him in the Hellfire Club. If they can hunt down the X-Men, they can hunt down Aaron, right? They can hunt down Machine Man, no problem. So these are where people should come in. I know there's another person there named Sunset Bane, and she turns around and she's chasing him down because she has she seems like she's a friend. She's trying to help him out, but really, she's like a Lex Luthor. She's a bad guy. And that's another person that shows up in that miniseries with Barry Windsor Smith is Sunset Bane. She's older. She's still chasing down Machine Man after all these years. So it was good to have that as a common tie. And I think she should have been more of the forefront, the villain. Like Superman has Lex Luthor, Sunset Bane should have been for Machine Man. But bring in some of these other ones and show the aspect of it. So that's my thing there. You can get into a lot more of the artificial intelligence within there. It should have been more crossovers with him and Vision, just like we said about Magic and the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch. Yeah,
right. They're both heroes, similar, and they're both in the Avengers at the same time. Sometimes there's things you need a machine to do, be it if it's a calculation, be it it's a precision that a man can't do. This is why men make machines, because machines don't get tired standing holding a position for X amount of time. Right. Where your hands shake, fatigue sets in. These are missions they could have used him on. Ultron should have been the big bad that he should have been reoccurred all the time.
Right. No, completely. It was a slight missed opportunity that if you really think it from this standpoint, it's not, he is not just, in the eyes of the army, someone who went AWOL, someone, you know what I mean? Someone like, that they themselves would only have attention. They have attention to it. That's, but it's kind of hard to think that they would believe that they would be the only ones who would have interest in him.
Yes.
Other individuals, other type of industries should at least have heard about this particular man. And if not in the beginning, the scenario, like I said, someone should have taken note of, again, if you switch it over to back to the Incredible Hulk, if we go to the TV show, in the sense, as an example, that whatever Dr. Banner did good, and whatever the case to be, turned to Hulk, did good and disappear, for that particular show, they did not have the army, the general per se, chasing him. They had the news reporter. But the sum of it was that wherever he went, there was a story. Oh, there was a story about this green Goliath, this green monster, that this big hulking person out of the shadows who did this and this and that. So, Machine Man is here helping out people and so forth along that line. Some stories had to have been brought up. Some stories must have gotten to the local authorities where they might have made a report, like unsolved case, man with purple outfit who did some miraculous. People thought he was man or machine, unknown, question mark. Maybe not the beginning of the storyline of the series, but we gotta agree at some point he had to have been triggering off some kind of warning to someone. Like I said earlier, think of them like saying, "Yo, what's happening on the West? Guy in a purple outfit? Is that man?" Someone would have been taken notice that Machine Man was there. So I know they may not have thought along that line at that time in the 70s and 80s, maybe not to come across it. But if we're going to bring him into like what we want to do, like, part of our show, we at the end, we like to cast, and majority of the time we bring out characters that we don't say that we don't bring characters that we won't want to cast, but we want to, when we talk about someone that we like. So if we're bringing about this, we want to bring him. So that means at this day and age, his storyline would be best to say later on, someone had to have seen a man at a certain point. Everybody, watch action through their phones first. Yeah. Someone has to take a note of this guy.
In this day and age, absolutely. People they don't look live. They look through their phone, through the lens, instead of looking live at whatever's going on. So you're right. And let's bring it to that. So we're going to go and do our adaptation of this right now. So Rod, if you had to adapt this to any kind of medium, what would you do? And, who would you select to cover Machine Man and whatever adaptation you have going forward? Let's get right to it.
Yeah. So I would actually like this to be a live presentation. I would not want no movie or anything in that regard. I want a series. I basically, if you can kind of hear from what I was saying before, and I kept referencing, Barry and I were both referencing, but I would definitely reference him back to the Incredible Hulk TV show.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want to have, not say the trope of that idea, but let that be the basis and just carry on from there. I want to have a live action individual that, now we're so accustomed to seeing androids, robots, who are humanoid, that you got to look at them double time, like saying, well, I got to come and poke your face. Do like a data, like most time any person who comes on an Enterprise and they hear about this, Commander Data, and they're looking into like staring like, are you real? My God, the skin really looks really prime perfect. That's exactly what I want. So I want a live adaptation. I would like a series, and we can go from there. I wanted to have, where is this individual? I wanted to have Scott Eastwood. Scott Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood's son?
Huh?
Is that Clint Eastwood's son?
He might have known that guy growing up. I'm just gonna say he might have known him. I don't know. Someone might have told him to take the trash out at night. Someone might have told him to make his bed. I don't know, but do you feel lucky, punk? Could have been a phrase around the house.
Oh my
Scott
God.
might have heard that maybe once or 17,000 times. So
Dad, can I
yes.
take the car? Do you feel lucky, punk?
Mom, he's doing it again. That's exactly what would be the rendition. So yes, yes.
Okay.
Scott
Okay.
Eastwood.
Oh.
Listen, I'm looking for someone who has the structure, the body face of someone who's like, who can be athletic, who could be serious. Because his face is going to be more of,
His selling point, right?
His selling point. So I need someone who's got that stern face, just like you got to look at him like thinking, do I see emotions out of you or not? Because we want to pull it back that he's, again, it's hilarious to think of it when you don't realize it. Our generation grew up with our own version of Machine Man, which was Data.
Yep.
So it's hard for me to not think of that type of basis. So I want someone who is so robotic, who is so analytical, and just again, he's an accountant. He knows nothing. He's just very pump. He's a super T. Cross his T, dot his I's.
Nice.
Everything is structure and stuff like that. So he's gonna have that type of face. When you see Scott Eastwood, you'll see that he can play that type of role.
Yeah.
Right. He has been in Suicide Squad. He was. If you also go back to or after that, he was Pacific Rim Uprising.
Yep.
He was like basically the number one, number two actor on that. You know what I mean? So he can play that type of militant type of role. He can be the soft spoken type of person. He has other accolades underneath his belt. So he can have that compassion when he's may try to interact with someone and be able to say, I'm trying to be like you. My final goal is to be human. Without saying that, he doesn't realize what he's looking for. But we're going to go through the journey and be able to see it from our own point of view, through his point of view of what he interacts and who he interacts and how he basically turns himself into someone who's here to help the people. And again, back to the Incredible Hulk type of show. He goes from town to town because he knows the government is after him.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, like I'm saying, you're going to do actions and good. You're trying to keep a low profile. But this day and age, someone's going to catch you. So you now got to watch yourself by prying eyes. This is a moral property. You're going to pick up someone's, I kind of let out the bag earlier by saying it, but this is what I was going along the line, that you can do good, do good, do good, do good. At a certain point, what's going on in the East? No, what's going on in the West? I'm hearing stories about a guy in a purple outfit. He's always in a trench coat, but underneath he has a purple outfit. Whatever the case would be. But you know what I mean? Yeah. That's how my mind is going. So that's why I would love to have a series. Live adaptation. Basically, that's it. Scott Eastwood is my pick for Machine Man.
All right, good. I can see that. I can definitely see Scott. He needs to be in a role for sure. He's got that. So yeah, I like that. I see what you're going with there. So I'm going a little bit different. I'm going, yes, live action, yes, but I want a movie.
Okay.
Right. I know a series because I want to kind of, I find that the series would be too similar to like the Zeta Project, too similar to maybe the Bionic Man or the Hulk, right? I'm not taking away
but
from
we haven't had that in so long. This is why I'm saying that now. That's true. That's why I would thought of a movie too, but I realized if you think about it,
yeah, it's been a while.
I can't really think of the lone wolf type of, going from village to village, city to city, helping out people, whatever the case to be, by any means necessary. The closest you could say is the Supernatural, the brothers in the car, going around whatever place, but that's
or Resident Alien, yeah. It was more.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was located in one place, kind of scenario. But but he's not again. He was.
No, I get you. Okay, but
that was my
I get
show.
what you're saying.
But that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying from you. Sorry not to cut you up, but that was how my head was thinking. I thought a movie, but it's a trajectory of like we haven't had anything for like that for a long time. Sorry. I hope I didn't screw
No, man.
your thoughts. Go on.
No. This is what the show's all about, man. I mean, people are always hearing me talk. It's nice to hear you talk. So here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how I feel. You know, so here's what it is. So for myself, I'm still going with a big budget movie. Yeah, I'm going for a big budget movie. I want it done as a chase theme. I want it done as a whole chase. You know, it's got to be. I said literally, it's got to be a chase movie. That's exactly what it is. It's not going to be the stand superhero fight. I'm standing here, I'm running, and I'm doing things while I'm running and trying to dodge certain people and help certain people at the same time. So I want to take, you know, the how can I put it? I want to take the, you know, his origin from a little bit from 2001 Space Odyssey from Marvel Comics, that whole thing of the Black Monolith there. But I want to really incorporate, you know, him being built, his dad, a couple of them going astray, him being trained and doing a certain thing, and then boom, and keep that very short, you know, and then he leaves, his so-called dad dies by sacrificing himself, right? Almost like Man of Steel, kind of, no, stand underneath the bridge, I'm here. And then let him go off, and then let the army start chasing him down. Okay, that's granted, that's going to be normal. But like I was saying before, let someone else come in and have a hand in that. Bring in Sebastian Shaw. You know, bring in Shaw Industries and say, all right, well, you know what? Even though this is an army project, we have our technology in this too. Not everything has got to be through Stark International. There's Obadiah International. So let Shaw show up. You know, I mean, let's if we're bringing the X-Men into the Marvel universe and they're still going to do it, you know, I know we already had Sebastian Shaw, be it if it's going to be Kevin that's going to reprise that role or to give it to a different actor. Bring in Sebastian Shaw, but don't bring him in as in, you know, your classic villain. Bring him in as in, okay, I'm working on this project. I put in some of this technology. Now it's on the run. I want it back. So let him be the background villain.
Nice.
Right. To help tie it in.
Right.
Or
let him be the
bring
one
in
pulling the shots in the back end.
Yeah, exactly. With his own, you know, so he's not just, you know, Machine Man is not just running from the army. He's running from the true villain. The army is just doing their job, but he's still got to deal with the true villain in this one, which would be Sebastian Shaw.
I like that.
Right. And then you got Sunset Bane, who's going to be there. Let her just be in the background. That she knows she could be working at Shaw Industries before she kind of goes and does her own thing. Right. And, you know, so one person watching another person, kind of setting up other sequels. But the main purpose would be the army is always going to be chasing him. No matter what, he's still gonna be helping people. No matter what, he knows he's got to fight Sebastian because Sebastian has got ulterior motives while running at the same time. And even though he's doing good, when the army gets there, it's one of those normal tropes of he's doing something wrong. No, I just saved this city because these guys are trying to make this energy source. I just shut it. I gotta go. Right. And they know, like the villains know they're doing wrong, but a good villain can always fool the hero. The good villain can make the hero look bad and make the general public still side with him. This is why Lex Luthor still works out so well, because the majority of the people look at Lex as like, no, he's done wonders for our city. What's the problem? What do you mean, Superman? He's a bad guy. He made a hospital. He made this park. He opened all these centers. He's doing wonders for Metropolis, Superman. What's your issue? Superman knows his true intentions and the blackness in his heart. And when they go up, but that's why Superman you can't punch out someone's intentions. Right? You can't punch out someone's perception of other people's perception of you. How many times you see a situation, someone does something like, oh, let's let it slide because they're so-and-so and they've done all this good. This is what Lex is good at. So we need someone that's charismatic like that. And it doesn't have to be always the new villain. Let it be Sebastian Shaw that's going through trying to get back some of his technology. He knows he's doing something nefarious. The army will whittle him down. He's seeing the army as a chess pieces. Let them tire him out, and then I'll send in my troops to do the big thing at the end.
Yep.
And that's where I would see that movie going. And, you know, you could put in so many Easter eggs that would set up future projects, right? So maybe you can have Sunset Bane, and maybe she's working on her own project similar to Machine Man, because every company always has, they're trying to do the same thing as someone else, right? You got Bell, you got Rogers. They both deal with cell phones. You got Apple, you got Samsung. They both deal with cell phones, right?
Mhm.
When we got record companies, one person says, "Oh yeah, I found the new next big singer. What's her name? Oh, this is was it Debbie Gibson? Oh no, we found the new big thing. What's her name? Tiffany. Oh, we got the new big thing. Britney Spears. No, we got the new biggest singer.
Right.
Christina Aguilera." Right. So why is it always got to be one? So it could be Sebastian Shaw at this movie could be the forefront. So it shows everything that's going on. Machine Man is made. His father dies. Army's chasing him. Sebastian Shaw wants to get him to dissect that information out of him because the long term would be, let me find him, capture him, see what makes him tick, and then see if I can help put it in these other robots to hunt down my enemies, X-Men, but they won't bother me. Bring in the Sentinels. Okay.
Yeah.
We know the Sentinel project goes wrong, but initially they were there to hunt down, like Sebastian was there funding the Sentinel project because he think, oh, well, I'm a mutant, but don't worry about me. I'll make sure I have a fail safe, and anyone that works with me will have a fail safe. The Sentinels will never come after us. The Sentinels make their own programming, but that would be a nice shift to kind of bring it together.
Okay.
Go through this movie, get to the end, and then, deals what he has to deal with. And at the end of the movie, Marvel likes to do their after credits. One after credit would be the Monolith coming down. The Monolith coming down is fine because that ties in Machine Man with the Celestials. We've already seen the Celestials as step one. And then was it Easter egg number 2 or, after clip number 2 is you see Sunset Bane and she turns around and she gets frustrated because Machine Man got away and she's laughing at Sebastian going, oh, you don't know. It takes a woman to understand these things. And she goes back to her office into one of her secret labs and doors open and there's Jessica. There's her body, but it's not activated yet.
Right.
Sets up for movie number 2.
Very nice. Very nice.
Right? Like I could see 3 movies easy of Machine Man going across. And the whole thing is when I say he goes, it doesn't have to be in a city. He's got to go around the world. So he'll deal with Jessica. He'll do this, but maybe he'll find the ruins of the true city of the Eternals, not how it kind of turned out. He doesn't have to meet the Eternals. He just has to be in their location. And fans would understand that. Even if you have pictures of the Eternals, be like, oh, okay, he's in the MCU. He's in their city. Oh, okay. It can be some reference to the Unimind. All right, move on. But keep the Black Monolith always there.
Right.
As a teaser. And then by the 3rd movie, let him explore the Black Monolith because he starts off on Earth running. At one point, he stops one person. Then he deals with Sunset Bane. Let him deal with the whole Monolith thing and he walks through and they can do it differently. Let him walk through the Black Monolith. Right? Okay. And then you can end it off with a cliffhanger where, all right, he walked through the Black Monolith. Where'd he go? What happened? Doesn't mean he went and joined the Celestials. Maybe he did. But next thing you know, you see a next scene, the Monolith shines again. He comes through and he's in the future, which would take place maybe part of Barry Windsor Smith's storyline with him there. Without them finding him in pieces, he just comes back and it's years later after the Avengers are gone and all that.
I've been here all this time.
Yeah, I was like, where were you? It's like, hey, man, he can meet Gears. He's got a good supporting cast. So Gears can be there and that Black Monolith can show up and dop him in a junkyard. And he can wake and maybe he can be deactivated. He can just come down there, like pull a R2-D2 in the last, Star Wars movies. What's he doing? Sleeping. He's been sleeping for years. Someone finds him, wakes him up. It's like, they're coming. Who's coming? The Celestials, there's so many ties in, but I like the aspect of, for me, the army's be a constant. They're going to be chasing him. You think that's who he's really fighting? No, he's fighting, Sebastian Shaw, Sunset Bane, Jessica. He goes and rescues her. His code helps activate her, saves her. The 2 of them go after, and then there's another rendition of Ultron. All right, let them go and fight Ultron, and then she takes off with Ultron for some reason because he programs her. Maybe he thinks he stopped it. There's so many possibilities, but I want this to be a chase movie in multiple locations that he's always run with different people just showing up, trying to capture him or trying to impede him or impede the others or make him look bad until he can fully clear his name, which he never will really fully do because he ends up in the future. And then one future is that way.
Right.
And what would be nice is if you want to do it, you do 3 movies, but you always have a narrator and the narrator is his voice. You want to go deeper than that? At the very last movie, at the very last scene, show him on the moon, standing beside a watcher in his see-through body. And he can just say, so now you understand how my life went with everything that went up to now, right? And the watcher just looks at him and goes, nods and says, doesn't say anything. Just watcher would just nod and go, you had a full life, Aaron Stark. But now I have something else for you. Right? And
right. Very good.
Start from Earth, end up cosmic. So and that's just me thinking out loud, but that's where I would go.
No, that's good.
Right. So I know I went through all that. That's where I'm going with a movie. Now, the person to play this for me, the person to play Machine Man is I get these people and the names kill me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, and I apologize to the actor. I'm going to screw up your name. I know it. We know it. Listeners know it. So his first name is Mathis Schwaghofer.
Okay.
He's a German. Okay, if you watch the movie Army of Thieves, he's the safecracker. That's all I gotta say. If you watch the movie Army of Thieves,
Matthias.
Thank you. Yeah,
Matthias. Matthias Schweighöfer.
Bless you. Yes, Matthias. Sorry, my apologies. I know it's Matthias. So Matthias. Yes. So he plays the safecracker in Army of Thieves that came out in 2001. You know.
Okay.
So in that movie, he plays Ludwig Dieter. That's his character, but he's the safecracker. He's as soon as the movie Army of Thieves starts, not Army of the Dead, Army of Thieves, which is a prequel. He's in there. He's the one working in the bank. He gets recruited. He goes to this contest to show his safe cracking skills. That's exactly who I'm going with. I think he's got the look, and what I mean by the look of Machine Man, when I see him in Army of Thieves, he's playing a bank teller. He's very analytical. He's a safe cracker, so he can focus, but at the same time, you can see that he's always processing a lot of what's happening around his environment at the same time. So showing that he processes stuff and he conveys that he's thinking, and he shows he's thinking and then he can focus really quick. He's got some, wit, good comedic timing.
Okay.
And that movie is an action movie too. So I think he can really portray that and bring a nice, well-rounded character to Machine Man. So that's who I'm going with as Machine Man.
Okay. That sounds good. I like him. I like the story that you're painting. And yeah, I mean, like, I probably I didn't go like deep. I was more on the chase aspect would always be there, but yes. I like yours is you're more focused on the chase, where I'm focusing on the human aspect, knowing that he's getting chased no matter what.
Yeah,
but yeah,
exactly.
I like what you're saying though. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, but your human aspect shows that he's really trying to fit in. So there's points to be taken from both sides, right? I mean, I know where you're going from. I'm a huge Machine Man for a long time, and this is one I wanted to talk about. So there we go. So once again, I'm not sure how long this episode went. I'm not sure if we went longer than normal. If we did, thank you for holding on. Rod, any last words?
You know what? Listen, support your people wearing purple. Just remember that.
Oh no, I do have
your people wearing purple. Support your people wearing purple.
That's Rod's favorite color.
That's my favorite color. But no, really and truly, this character is special. I hope you everyone took what we said and can see the building blocks of what we're saying and how it can be integrated into these particular worlds. If it's DC we're talking about, or Marvel, we're talking about Marvel right now, but you can clearly see that this can work out. This character does have layers. He does have the ability to make something that everybody can enjoy and will be able to gravitate to. The human side, the chase, the aspect, the eluding, being outsmarting the individuals. Again, he's a human processor. He's thinking always. So He has to be five. He has to play basically human chess with people.
Exactly.
Be 5 to 10 to 17 steps ahead. People don't realize they're playing with a master chess player right now. That's the image that we're both trying to portray, and I
Yep.
hope you're able to catch that from us.
Absolutely. On my side, I'll say this. I love this character. I think this character can go really far. I clearly hear how my thoughts are about it. And let us know what you think. Remember, like, subscribe, rate, review. Don't make the show be a secret. Share with your friends. Let them know what we're talking about all the time. If you have someone you want us to talk about or mention or question, let us know on our social media, right? We're pretty active on all our social media pages. And you will get a response from us. That's for sure. I can promise you that. We got so much more coming on. With Machine Man, I think it can definitely go on. And the reading points, as I said, 2001 Space Odyssey, issue number 8 by Marvel Comics. Follow that up by the original storyline by Jack Kirby. And then Steve Ditko comes in at that point. It's only 19 issues. That is a good series that really kind of puts a lot of aspect to it. And then definitely read the Barry Windsor Smith Machine Man 4-issue miniseries that came out. That there does plug in a lot of holes and a lot of nice callbacks to the original series. That's why you gotta read it. And end that off with, the Earth X run. You don't have to read the whole Earth X run, but I know it's Earth X, Universe X. I don't forget what's in what order, but you can read the last bit. There's parts that just deal with him when you see Machine Man, because there he's transparent and he just has the X-51 written on his forehead. So he doesn't even go by his name. He doesn't go by Machine Man, doesn't go by Aaron, but as X-51, that is who he is. And he is, ends up being the new Watcher. And there's no spoiler there. There's so much more meat in between that we want you to read it and check out the books so you know where to go and get your books or order them online.
There you go.
Sweet.
There you go.
On that note, thank you once again for tuning to another episode of the Iconis Podcast. And as I always say, this whole world was started with a piece of paper, a pencil, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming. Yeah, now I gotta go and check out my taxes and see if I can get a good accountant, because I think I can still get some more money back.
Yeah, they were on strike, so they'll squeeze it in before they come back.
Gotta run.
Gotta run.